Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eddie again. Here we have another build off. It's John at Deep Junk put on another one for a race car challenge, and I'm going to be working on a '68 Chevy Nova. Let me walk you through the steps here. And so basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this car. And I don't come from a racing background. I'm from Brownsville, Texas, and so we don't have a lot of racing going on around here. However, there was a lot of hot rods in my area, and so that's what I'm going to build. You can see here, I'm going to take some wheels off of that M&M's truck. Those were perfect for what I was going to use them for, so I'm going to go ahead and drill those out and use those. They are real riders, and they fit the profile that I was looking for with this build that I'm creating. So I'm gonna put real riders. I'm gonna leave it kind of the way it was. You can see here I've broken it apart. I'm setting everything up, fitting it to make sure that everything fits nicely. I'm gonna have to cut those wheels in half there and use some of that brass pipe or tubing so I can extend them out a little bit. They were just too tight. I'm going to also go ahead and file it down so that the brass tubing can fit in there. Next, what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and cut that brass tubing, make a couple of holes in there so that I can super glue those axles in there. That went pretty smooth. It was when I started the process of painting the car. I actually had to paint it 8 times, and so what happened the first time it was perfect. Here you see me gluing those axles, and so the first time it was perfect. You know, the paint was nice, and when I went to put chrome around the trim, I kind of screwed up, and so I had to put it in the stripper again. And man, I had trouble. I painted. I put some primer. I put the red coat on there, and then I taped the top of the car, and the paint kept lifting up. Like kind of like an orange peel, if you will. And I think what happened in the end was I wasn't giving it enough time to cure, and so that's what happened, I believe, because at the eighth time, what I did is I painted, I baked the paint, and then I left it for a couple of days, and it went smooth again. And here you see me putting some ground effects in the front bumper. I use that 1 millimeter. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Styrene, I'm sorry, is the word I'm looking for. And so I cut a piece off of it, and I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna glue it there on the front bumper. Then I went ahead and painted that a flat black with tester's paint. I'm using Gorilla Gel Super Glue here, as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead, and after that, I'm gonna go ahead and tape the chrome front end, the grill, the bumper, the rear bumper. I'm gonna tape them off, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint the rest of the chassis a black. I spray painted that, and that came out pretty good. I didn't do any detailing in the bottom of the car. We hardly ever look at those things unless you put it on the glass, and then you can't really see or appreciate the effects on the bottom of the car. I don't usually turn the cars upside down to look at the bottom, so I don't do much work on the bottom of any of my cars. And so this went smooth. It did glue and stuck pretty good on there. I'm quite happy with that. And so yeah, and so that's what that step that I'm taking there. I hope you're enjoying this, and please keep watching and subscribe if you like. And here's I did this at the last step after fitting. Of course, I did a little bit of stripping. Like I said, I use that citrus stripper that everybody uses. Well, not everybody, but a couple of other guys that I see on here use that, and that works great. Leave it for a couple of hours, and then use a brass brush to clean it off. I use acetone to clean after everything. That way I can take it to the paint. And so here you see, and I kind of don't put any of those steps anymore. I think everybody knows how to tap and drill, or drill and tap, I should say. Yeah, but that went pretty smooth. What I did was shorten those screws up a little bit, and here you see me with a file, and now I'll go ahead and maybe knock off about an eighth of an inch so that they fit tight on there. I don't like to drill too much because those drill bits are pretty flimsy, and they kind of break off pretty easy. I did buy some of these titanium high speed, and they seem to work pretty good. They're seven to the pack for $1. You can't beat that. So anybody needs any of these, take a shot out, and I'll send you some if you need some. If you don't have them in your area. And here it is. I'm gonna take it to the paint. Like I said, it's stripped. I did put some axle wires on there to at the front of the hood, so they look like the locking mechanisms on hot rods. And then I'll go ahead and paint those with a chrome pen. Here you see me paint the bottom chassis of the car black. Like I said, leave it drying for a couple of days. Here I put the primer on there. You can see those hood locks right there. You can barely see them, but what I did is I used the axles and super glued them to the hood. That came out pretty nice, and you'll see that at the end when I do the reveal. So, like I said, I had to paint it a couple of times, and the paint there it is. When I first this is the first time around. It came out really nice, and like I said, I had to do it I think 8 or 9 times. I lost track, man, how many times I had to repaint this. And so what I use here is I make straight lines with that blue tape, and so I can do the trim and all that. I kind of try and save a little bit of money and trying to buy that real thin tape. So I create my own. I use a ruler and an X-Acto knife, and it works. It works for me, so I'll keep using that. I'm gonna paint the top of the car. I'm gonna give it a black finish gloss as well. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do chrome on all the trim. I'm gonna put everything, and here's the reveal. Hope you enjoy.